What are my overall takeaways from the China-U.S. summit and my trip to California? That was the central theme of my discussion live on set with a U.S. counterpart on NBC. I also talked to an American who dedicated 30 years in promoting China-U.S. friendship. And I explore the largest zero-emission bus manufacturer in the United States. Welcome to a special edition of The Point with me, Liu Xin, coming to you from San Francisco, California. Once you look them in the eye, you'll never feel the same about them. This rings true not just for the tête-à-tête between the presidents of China and the United States last week, but also for me as a guest at NBC last Friday. I had the opportunity to engage in a lively discussion with Raj Matai, the host of the nightly newscast for NBC Bay Area. We talked about my general take on the summit meeting between the two presidents in San Francisco last week. How did the conversation go? Here's the entire 7-minute interview.
Nice to have you on the program. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you very much, Raj, for having me.
Overall impressions of San Francisco, did you enjoy your week here, you and your crew?
A little bit in the intervals of the reporting. It's of course we were in the quarter with a lot of homeless people, but I was fortunate to be taken to the nicer quarters as well, and I had a wonderful time. So I'm happy to see both sides of San Francisco.
Yeah, and that you did. Let me start by asking, just how much journalistic freedom do you have? Do you have guardrails or parameters in terms of your analysis of what happened here, or maybe even your criticism of the Chinese government?
Well. Every time I'm asked the same question, as if that is the most important question for a journalist. I think, coming from the Chinese perspective, having worked 25 years as a journalist, the most important question to ask, are we being professional and responsible reporters? Are we giving people the information that is accurate? Not just accurate partially, but accurate comprehensively? Are we being responsible in giving people the kind of quality information that they need so that they can build their decisions on? Are we bringing the people together so that they can rally behind the same goals in building the country better so that they're more united? Are we able to entertain people without using, without providing the kind of toxic information that's out there all the time? This is what I'm concerned about. And I think that is the ultimate barometer of journalism, which is quality information instead of, what you describe as the freedom of reporting, which is important, but sure. I think there are more important functions of a media outlet.
Different perspectives from different parts of the globe. We do respect that. What's your reporting? What was the tone? And what was your takeaway of what happened here between Presidents Biden and Xi? What was the response in China?
Yeah, well, I was very much paying attention to the response here, and I realized that the press, for instance, your coverage was very positive. You had very, how should I say, very positive coverage of what's happening.
I even told you behind the scenes, it was a pleasant surprise for me, just looking at this, the optics here.
Yeah.
To speak and communicate is better to not speak and communicate.
Absolutely.
In many times.
Absolutely, and that was what President Xi was saying. It doesn't work for the world's two largest economy, the biggest developed country and the biggest developing country, to turn their backs against each other. Now we're seeing them walking and having a chit chat. I think that's wonderful. The world doesn't need more confrontation. We need to sit down and understand each other, just like what we're doing when we're looking at each other in the eye. Sure. When we had that handshake, things are a little bit different, isn't it? Even if we disagree on a lot of issues, we may.
Sure. What's the response in China from the people you serve, your viewers there? Are they skeptical of this meeting? Are they encouraged? You tell me.
Well, it's very interesting because I went to a farmer's market the first day I was in LA, and I looked around and I enjoyed a little bit of shopping just to feel the pulse of the place. And I tried to bargain a little bit because that's, as a good old Chinese woman.
It's part of our culture, yes, we get it here on the Indian side.
It's part of your culture too. I tried to bargain and I had fun, so I told the Chinese general public on social media platform that this is what the kind of exchanges I had. And there were people who were very happy that American people were very friendly, but there were also people who were not so happy. They were like, why are you so good, so happy about shopping in America? They were so mean to us. They started a trade war on us. They called us thieves. They said we produced a virus and spread it intentionally to the rest of the world. So there was a lot of confusion, a lot of shock, a lot of frustration. And over the past few years, people were alienating, or feeling that they were alienated by the world's largest economy, with which we had a wonderful few decades of relationship, which was productive and beneficial for both sides.
And it seems pretty evident, pretty clear that President Xi also wanted to kind of rekindle part of the Silicon Valley and technology, that partnership that we've had for many years. Was that part of his plan here? Was that communicated to China, your viewers?
Well, I think the overall, the specific issues won't be resolved until you have the fundamentals solidified. I think that's what President Xi was coming here for, to figure out how should the two countries deal with their relationship in a way that is future-oriented. And I'm very happy to see that they talked about a future-oriented San Francisco vision, that they need to respect their differences, but work together, manage their differences, contain conflict, have open line communication, increase people-to-people exchanges. And I think these are very, very good ideas. I just hope that from both sides, from now on, we're going to put them into action and not have the kind of back and forth as we see a year ago since Indonesia, Bali, when they last met.
I think that's the key. We can talk a lot about here, these world leaders, both of our cultures here, but what's going to happen tomorrow in terms of can we move forward? Action, exactly. And there's a trust. Hopefully both sides, both leaders can establish more of a trust.
Well, I think the trust is very much evident in China. I think it was a very courageous move for President Xi to come here because the relationship was at its low ebb over the past few years. So for him to come here, and he was making it again and again clear that China wants to be on good terms with the United States because together we can make so many good things together. We can, but so he came here with the utmost sincerity.
Sure.
So right now, let's see whether the middle ranges of people, the officials, can put the actions into real action, put the vision into real action. They were talking about China will invite 50,000 American young students to China over the next 5 years. I think that's great news. And I've been advocating for streamlining visa application because I say if you want people to understand China, if you want to have them in China and see for themselves, you've got to make the visa simpler. And this is one of the outcomes. And I'm so happy to see that.
It could be a nice start. Thank you for coming in. And by the way, there was a nice light moment between kind of illustrating the relationship between Presidents Biden and Xi, the photo of President Xi in San Francisco, nearly 40 years ago.
Yeah.
There it is. And it shows a nice personality and rapport between these two.
Well, with your permission, since you brought it up, yeah. I have this picture and I'm going to use it again. I know I don't like to repeat myself, but I do think this is a very significant picture. And you can see
at the Golden Gate Bridge 38 years ago.
Yeah, I haven't had the opportunity to go there. He was 32. Okay, this was 38 years ago. And the reason why I found this picture, I printed out before I came here. Yeah. I didn't know how I was going to use it, but I printed out because when he met Governor of California, Gavin Newsom, in Beijing, he said, San Francisco was the first stop I ever stepped on when I visited America, and that left him a lasting impression of the country. So
it's nice. Thank you. We were out of time, but thank you for sharing that as well.
Thank you.